Hello, audience, and welcome to another edition of Have You Seen It with Charles and Denise. I'm flying solo again this week, moviegoers, and that's how it goes. But we're going to keep this train moving, and I'm going to jump right into my review for this week. My review this week is the movie Elvis. It just came out in theaters, and I'm telling you, awesome performances. Austin Butler plays Elvis, and Tom Hanks plays his manager, Colonel Tom Parker. The movie is narrated by Colonel Parker. So that is the voice that you hear throughout the movie. He's telling his story, how the explosion of Elvis and their relationship began and how it continued for more than like 20 years. In this movie, it starts, Elvis, you see Elvis as a young boy in his hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, and his love of music began in the church. Okay, basically, he heard a church sermon going on in his town. He and his friends hear a revival, actually, and they go to see what's going on in this tent, and he sees a revival of black folks just praising the Lord and testifying and so forth, and he actually gets the spirit. And from then on, his music career kind of begins. He already had a love of music and liked to listen to some of the very, very early blues players, picking their guitars and strumming their guitars, playing their pianos and singing. But once he got the feeling, he knew, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to be. So enter Colonel Tom Parker, who had some carny experience. Okay, so he's running carnivals and sideshows and so forth, gets wind of this Elvis guy, and then the career begins and their relationship begins. This man is controversial. He's slick. You're talking about some backdoor dealings going on, scheming, skimming money, stealing money, all unbeknownst to Elvis and his family. The more popular Elvis becomes, the more it fueled Tom Parker's desire to basically take advantage of him. So as the movie progresses, you actually see how that occurs. And this happens starting in the late 50s all the way up until Elvis Presley's death in the 70s. And it was very interesting to watch. And, as I'm watching this movie, I'm looking at a very young Elvis who's been sucked in and believes in this man, believes that this man really cares about him, cares about his career, cares about his family. And in some instances, on the surface, you can see how Elvis fell for this. But when you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, you don't have a lawyer, you don't have an accountant, you just trust the word of one person, things can go up and down and get very messy very quickly. If I were giving this movie a rating, I would give this movie a B, a strong B, maybe a B plus. And I'm going to throw it out there and say there may be some Oscar buzz for both Austin Butler and Tom Hanks, because I've seen a lot of Tom Hanks movie, and this is the most evil and most dastardly I've seen him in a very long time. So that is my review, the movie Elvis in theaters. Check it out. If you are an Elvis fan, I think you'll enjoy this movie. And so, with that being said, I'm going to move on to my Nailed It. My Nailed It comes from another favorite actor of mine and a favorite movie. Harrison Ford in the movie The Fugitive as Dr. Richard Kimball. I'm telling you, this guy was resourceful, he was smart, evasive, and basically determined to prove his innocence and find the real killer of his wife. And I watched this movie just this week again for the 50th time, and still I can't figure out how he was able to do everything he was able to do and the police be 2 steps behind him at every turn. So that is my Nailed It, Harrison Ford, for the movie The Fugitive. All right, folks, so you know that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button. And we are available on every podcast platform in the universe. Just type in, "Have you seen it with Charles and Denise?" and there we will be. And if you are a fan of Spotify, you can now see us and hear us on Spotify. And if you're just listening to the other podcasts, make sure you give us that generous 5-star rating. So that's it for this week, friends. I hope my co-host will be back soon, but if not, you will definitely see me. Until next time, bye-bye.